Jesus, Colman, you scared the crap out of me in Zola. Holy mackerel. Where the hell did that come from? I thought I knew you.
I know, right? You know, I'm surprising you a little bit. I think I don't know, I get to play around and go to the darkest recesses of my mind with these characters. I feel that Janixa Bravo saw something in me that I can bring to this terrifying character of X. And I wanted to give all that I had. And I felt like it's such a complicated character, but I wanted to love him and make him challenge audiences. You know, he's doing terrible things, absolutely terrible things. But I think you're kind of into it in a weird way, right? Am I right, Dewey?
Oh no, I'm not only into it. I have a little bit of a tie to this, and I don't know if you know this or not, but I am based in Tampa. So this story
Did it feel like Tampa?
Oh no, you shot it in Tampa. You shot this. Don't I knew, like, I'm watching the movie and I'm seeing these shots and I'm like, I drive by that every day. I see that every day. You know, I mentioned it to my editor, Eric, that I drive by that hotel y'all went to probably at least a couple times a week. And Eric's like, I'm sure you do. And I'm like, come on, Eric. I am not for that. So I just happened to drive by there with my kids, taking them to their appointment. So yeah, no, it was kind of an eye-opening experience that all of that happened in Tampa. So let's start from the beginning. Now, when did Ms. Bravo approach you about the film?
She approached me about this maybe about 3 months before they went into production. What was it, 2018 we shot that? And I just come off of doing If Beale Street Could Talk. And I just thought, what did she see that she understood that I could play a role like this? Because I think it's going to be a hard left for people because they're used to me playing, you know, very loving, kind, you know, fathers. You know, not too loving in this. But, you know, I think it goes back to my character actor roots where I just felt like, I mean, there's so much of this character that I was interested in figuring out. And he wasn't an easy character to attack either, because I wanted to make sure that I had to learn to love him and find out what makes his heart beat, what his dreams are, what complicates him. So I took it in my mind, I took it as an immigrant story from his perspective. I'm like, hey, he's someone who's trying to have some agency in the world with what he has. He may not have his papers to work here, but he knows how to charm women. And then eventually becomes to, you know, use women as commerce and trafficking in women. So I think, and maybe drugs and maybe some other, anything that's on the fringe. So I thought it was a deep dive, and I went through the rabbit hole of research of pimp culture, and that is a very dark psychological place because it's all about mind control. Every single way of being to other men, to your women, how you control their emotions. And I also wanted to make the argument of like, to make sure that these women are strong, and how could they succumb to his to what this guy is. I wanted him to be a charlatan in many ways. And so I wanted to make sure that the way I was portraying him, like to show that anybody can get caught up into this. Anybody can. He can tell you what you want to know about yourself. He can tell you how to feel. He can make you feel like something, that you have some value in a different way. So it's all psychological. That's what I learned.
Now, two things. First off, you completely just nailed that whole control comment you said in that scene at the pool with Zola. And you've got that quiet rage with her as you're talking to her, saying you're gonna stand up and you're gonna follow, and you're like, bitch, I don't got all day, you know. So but that I mean, you completely show that, and it's kind of jarring to the audience because, you know, we think of her as the strong character. She's a strong woman, and you've managed to get a hold of her in a very short amount of time.
Because he's a character who keeps shifting and changing. He's very mercurial, and you never know which way he's going to turn. And that's part of his control as well. He may speak to you in a very loving way, and then he'll flip this script on you very quickly. So he leaves you a little unbalanced all the time. There's a moment that he has with Stephanie when you can tell that Stephanie, played by Riley Keough, would like some affection. And I look at her and I make sure I lean in and I make a point to kiss her on her forehead, because that's control. I know you want it, and I'm close to giving it to you. But this keeps you, you know, I own you, which is, so I've learned that through psychology of pimp culture, to be honest.
Now, was it your decision to throw the dialect switch out of nowhere at one point in the movie, kind of cut us off guard the first time, or was that from research for this from the character you're apparently playing? But can you fill us in, because you caught me off. I knew he was of Nigerian descent, but then just threw it out there. It was great.
Dude, it started with the tweets. Asia, whose name is Zola, whose name is Asia.
Right.
She said that basically at some point this accent came out of him, and she was like, "Wait, what? Who is this guy?" And I know that Janixa put it in the script to make sure it was a specific shift that turned the film from this lighthearted comedy to dark very quickly. So that was actually in the script. And I knew that he was Nigerian, and I wanted to make a choice that he was Nigerian, but he's been appropriating African-American colloquialisms, way of speech, everything. So he's really put it on to cover himself up, to be like African-American. But then it slips out when he's very angry and upset, is Nigerian. And then I did something to make sure sort of like he puts a cap on it halfway through, and you see that switch that he's like, whoa, you're dealing with somebody who's living in a few worlds, and you're not really sure of this guy at any time. So that was scripted. And then Janixa and I, we worked together to figure out these other moments, which would be interesting for it to fly out with reckless abandon, and then for him to cover it up most of the time.
Can we just
but you could see that he's absolutely not American by the way he dresses. It's all just a little too loud. It's a little too much. It's still very Nigerian, but he's still trying to be like some African-American dude from Atlanta,
Now, can we just give Miss Bravo her flowers finally? Can we just give her
please.
her due? I mean, because Jesus Christ, she directed the hell out of this, and she needs all the praise in the world. I'm going to let you go ahead and do that.
I think she's extraordinary. She's one of the most extraordinary directors I've worked with. She is a great collaborator. If people look at her camera angle, the way she uses camera, the way she tells a story, where she edits, or what she allows you to linger, she is in the same vein as like Cassavetes, I think. You know what I mean? I hope that people really look at her as this really innovative, independent director, and she can do anything, to be honest. I really love working with her.
People are going to say some things about what you do in this film, because you just take it to a whole nother level. But I'm guessing you're going to be the first to tell me it helps when you have the type of cast that you have with Riley and Taylor and Nicholas kind of helping tell this story. But damned if you didn't steal the show, in my opinion.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I think the character is, he's set up to make sure that everyone is swirling around him. He is in the center of it. Anytime he's in a scene, he's in the center of the scene. Everyone's reacting and responding around him. And so that was, I think I've been given a great opportunity as well to actually really showcase a lot of what maybe people may not know about my work and my talents and my strengths.
What do you remember about filming in Tampa? Was it sort of like a in and out scenario? Was it quick?
Nah, man. We had I think we shot it in 6 weeks, but it was very, very low budget. And we really, sometimes our holding spaces were like a motel room in the motel that we were shooting. And I remember I have an image of late night shoot when Riley and I are taking a nap, and we're both laying in the bed next to each other, shoes off, just sleeping. It wasn't any glamorous setting. And I think that actually catered to the film. I think if we had, high-end trailers and stuff like that, I think it would have been wrong for this film. I think you needed the grit, you needed the grease. We were well taken care of. We sort of hung out always together. Even when we were done shooting, we all went to dinner together and had drinks together, you name it. But we really did become this little ragtag group of people traveling through Tampa together, and it was beautiful. Really
now, were there moments where you were actually maybe holding either one of the cameras for that shot in the Jeep where you guys are dancing to Hannah Montana?
Oh yeah, we're all holding the cameras. We're holding cameras sometimes for each other. We're holding the cameras for ourselves. Exactly. So that's all our work. We're all shooting that.
I thought so, and I was like, man, that is some genius, because it gets you into that, it gives you that gritty feel that you're referring to. Yeah. And now, when you film in different locations and you're telling these different stories, maybe it's because they have the budget, et cetera. But when you're telling the story, did it help you and the cast, you think, being in Tampa where this whole thing happened?
Absolutely. I think we could not have shot that somewhere else. I love that we're on location in every single way. You know how Tampa is. You know how Florida is. Florida changes personalities every 5 minutes. You can just drive down one street and you're like, oh, that's nice. And you're like, oh, that's not so nice. That's a little scary. That's pretty beautiful. That's exactly what it is. Like that strip driving down the Clearwater as well. You're getting everything. You're getting all of America, all the good stuff, all the trashy stuff, all the challenging stuff, weirdly political stuff on one stretch. So I think that's what I remember about
Yeah.
Tampa.